Pokemon Snap. What a fantastic oddball game. It's been 20 years since this strange creation was released on the Nintendo 64 to demonstrate the 3D powers of the console. And now, in 2020, the announcement has been made that we are seeing a resurgence of Pokemon photography with a new Snap game announced, alongside some sort of dental simulator? Smile for the camera, I guess. Naturally, the announcement has gotten me interested in playing the original game again to remind myself how far we've come. A lot of people nowadays are probably going to see Snap and wonder just what everyone's excited about. I mean, how could anyone get excited about snapping pictures? If you're asking that question, though, my answer to that is another question. How can anyone get excited about stacking blocks, or jumping on things, or pointing and clicking, or examining passports? These are all tasks that sound boring until they're turned into a video game, and the player decides to push the concept as far as it'll go. A year or so back, I came across a video online of a particular highly valued photograph in Snap and how to get it. When I saw the guy's score total, I became interested in pushing my own maximum score as high as I could. I had to learn the movements of every Pokemon and how to get them to go where I wanted, and when to snap the photo. And as I did this, I pushed my high score to over 260,000. Not as high as the world record, which breaks 300,000, but enough to convince me that the developers of this game tapped into a strange potential that rarely gets explored. But we're gonna explore that potential starting today. In celebration of the announcement of a Snap sequel, I'm gonna put together a series of videos showing how to get the best shots in the 7 courses of the original game. Of course, I'm not a hardcore master pro like the guys with 300,000 points I mentioned, but there aren't any other full tutorials for the high-scoring shots, so I'm gonna do my best anyways. So, to begin with, let's discuss some of the nuances of the game mechanics. As you know, Pokemon Snap is a photography game on rails. Though your vehicle follows a linear one-way path, the vehicle can actually move left or right if you face in that direction, and in wide open areas that can put you further away or closer to your targets, which will be an important tactic for some Pokemon. If you collide with a Pokemon or other obstacle, you will stop until the path is clear again. Looking behind you makes the vehicle slow down, and if you mash C left or C right, you can move even slower than that at the expense of your sanity. One final note regarding movement. When you hold Z, your current movement is locked and will not change until you release Z, so if you look behind you, hold Z and look forward, you'll be moving forward at the speed you would be moving if you look behind you. Keep that in mind for when you want to keep moving in the same direction even as you're looking in another direction. You have 3 tools at your disposal that you unlock throughout the story. You can throw apples or pester balls at the environment. Apples can lure Pokemon into position for your photo, and pester balls can shake them out of hiding or knock them out. There's also the Poke Flute, which can play one of 3 different songs, potentially getting a reaction out of Pokemon that hear it. Finally, the dash engine allows you to move faster, letting you get to whatever part of the level you're interested in quicker, among other functions. So, how does the scoring system work? Well, forget everything photography class taught you, because Professor Oak is picky and shrewd and you will hate him by the end of this. Professor Oak rates your photos based on size, pose, and technique, with additional bonuses available for most Pokemon. Size is how much space in the photo is occupied by the subject. In other words, the closer you are to the subject, the better, but be careful the subject isn't cropped off the edge of the photo. You lose points for that. A max of 1,000 points can be scored here. Next up is pose. Most of the time you can earn 1,000 points if the subject is facing the camera perfectly, or less if they're facing the side. However, if the Pokemon was doing something special, such as eating or dancing or whatever, you can earn a fixed bonus that doesn't take into account the direction they're facing. In other words, if I see a Vulpix eating an apple, it doesn't matter what direction they're facing. I get the max pose if I photograph them eating, which means I can get a pic of their butts into the Pokemon report. Technique is simple. If the subject is in the center of the frame, your score is doubled. When taking the picture, a red light indicates a Pokemon in the center of the frame, but you don't actually need the red light. However, without the red light, the game can interpret the photo as having a different subject than what you intended if there were multiple Pokemon in the frame. Typically you want the red light, but not all the time. Some shots are better off without it. An additional bonus is also collected if there were multiple Pokemon of the same species in the same photo as the subject. This isn't always available, however, but when it is, the size of the additional Pokemon as well as their numbers are factored into the bonus. No idea if pose matters for these extra Pokemon. Finally, there's special shots. Some Pokemon have special interactions that are worth an automatic bonus, and this is on top of whatever pose score you got. Unfortunately, a good number of these are less than optimal for getting the highest possible score. Pikachu in particular has 4 or 5 special shots associated with it. Only one of them can be on top, sadly. I'll point out which special shots are worth it for the best scores you can get. You'll also notice I have these score challenges unlocked. What these do is they tally up the total score for all photos taken in that run of the stage, and multiply it by the number of different Pokemon photographed to give you your total grand score for the stage, and they ask you to beat a set score on each stage. These are easy to deal with, just snap one photo of every type of Pokemon, and then blow through the rest of your film on the highest scoring shot in the stage. That's there if you want something extra to play with after getting all the photos. That concludes my overview of the game mechanics. Starting from the next video, I'll get into the specifics of each course, one video per course, starting with the beach. Get ready to peer into the viewfinder.